are these going to be Steven Spielberg aliens? Or are these going to be Ridley Scott aliens?
Once you get to the point of being an alien and you have a flat spot for genitalia, then maybe you don't have to wear clothes.
Do you subscribe to the theory at all that aliens created us?
The jump of intelligence between a human and the next most intelligent animal seems to be larger than any two animals.
They could be coming back to Earth to coexist. They could be coming back to Earth to enslave. They could be coming back to Earth to destroy us.
I think some people would start war. I don't think it would be immediate, but war would eventually break out.
So if aliens came and we wanted to coexist, would you be cool with that?
If you take them out of that element, they are just an organic being that all they have is their intelligence. If an alien civilization decides to treat us that way, I think that is how it would go down.
There's another theory out there from mainly some religious people who feel that aliens are demons.
There's also a high likelihood that if aliens visit us, they're not going to be biological. They're going to be mostly technological.
Live from the inside of a flying saucer that looks more like a plate, it's the Socially Awkwards podcast. I am Groot, and he is Brax the Destroyer, and we are the Socially Awkwards. Welcome to the Space Pod today, Brandon. Today's episode is another Doomsday episode. Today is all about aliens. What if aliens invaded Earth? Would we all be dead? Would we all be hiding? Would we all be slaves? Would we coexist? Maybe I finally found my once-in-a-lifetime mate. We have beautiful alien babies together named Mork and Elf. Because those would be the names I would choose if I had an alien baby. All right, so we're going to go through some scenarios here. I don't know if you're excited about this or not, but we are going to talk about some ways that aliens come and maybe that we do coexist. Good ways. Good invasions is what I call them. And then we're going to talk about bad invasions. So are these going to be Steven Spielberg aliens or are these going to be Ridley Scott aliens? We'll find out today on another episode of Socially Awkwards Podcast. Oh, cool. All right.
That's a great intro. Good job on that. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So let me ask you a question about aliens. We've asked the question before if you saw an alien and the first thing you would say or to them, and I think it was some kind of crazy high five or something that you were talking about. And if they didn't know that, you didn't want anything to do with them, whether or not they were going to enslave you or not. But if aliens came down in a good scenario, what would you consider a good scenario for aliens coming down? Because some people would consider them just wiping us out to be a good scenario. And I call those people doomsayers. But hey, there's times where I think like that. I'm like, you know what? Just go ahead and burn the whole planet and we'll just live on in other ways. But
yeah, I think that a good scenario should be that they come down in a way where they can reveal themselves to everybody at once.
right.
I don't think that
no clothes on. Why don't they ever have clothes on, by the way? Are we the primitive ones because we don't have clothes or because we have clothes? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, they've transcended. You know the chart where it's like it's a bell curve and it's like at the beginning you have the dumb person, at the end you have the intellectual person, and in the middle you have everyone else.
Right.
And it's like the dumb person, the smart person are thinking the same thing. It's it's a popular meme format.
Yeah.
So I think that wearing clothes is probably in the middle of the bell curve where it's like it's like the animal, the animal instinctual, like the lions and the tigers, they don't wear clothes. Then you get to us humans and now we're wearing clothes. And then once you transcend all that, all the, sexual reproduction and shame around how your body looks and all that stuff, you realize clothes are just arbitrary and you don't wear them anymore. So that's close.
Yeah, it is crazy because I've never heard anybody talk about an alien with like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they have like, their own little shell or something. And so we're not really seeing them for who they are anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, once you get to the point of being an alien and you have a flat spot for genitalia, then maybe you don't have to wear clothes. That might just be the
maybe
threshold.
You got to look at it this way, right? Like, I think we discussed this before, but like our DNA on this planet, like we are close to everything on this planet we share somewhat of a DNA with, which is kind of like a wow factor, right? Like you can say, like, I think, what did I hear? Like Neil deGrasse Tyson say that we share 25% of a DNA with a banana, right? So, which is crazy. But so aliens, in order to be so that much far advanced and different than us, they would have to like literally share no DNA. So how would they look and how could we be able to create them, because it seems like anytime an alien is created on movies or whatever, they still have like the arms and the legs and the eyes and the face and everything. And that's really, I mean, that's just what we know, but that's like a human thing. So they could be like totally fucking crazy, like the Blob. Like, you know, they
Yeah.
could just be like a big blob. Like they could be anything, and it's almost like too out of our depth to even like perceive like how they would
Right.
be.
Or it could, yeah. I mean, because that begs a deeper question about the human form. It's like, are we the way we are because we're one manifestation of evolution, or a series of processes that allows us to interact with the world,
Yeah.
or are we actually like the way we are because it's one of the best ways for a life form to evolve? Like, because you do have to interact with the outside world. You have to be able to manipulate it physically. So
Yeah.
you're thinking you need some sort of arms. You need probably maybe hands with fingers, or just some way to grasp things to move them around.
Right.
So I think that the possibility of a highly intelligent blob is probably low. Obviously, it's not zero, because who
Right.
knows?
Right.
You need to be
They
able to
could have
perceive.
telepathy. They could have something. Or
Man, that would be
not
crazy. Yeah,
telepathy. I mean, telepathy is the one, you know, where they can hear your thought, but
telekinesis.
telekinesis, right? Like they could
Yeah,
just move shit, and like that would be crazy. But I
that's
mean,
right. Yeah, and we're thinking of telekinesis as like superhero stuff, but like there is ways we can move things with magnetism. We know of ways that things can be moved in ways where it's like we're not seeing things being touched. So who knows how these things, another life form could possibly develop these abilities. So that would be really cool.
that is true. That is true. Do you subscribe to the theory at all that aliens created us?
No,
Zero
but
0%?
0%.
Or are you like maybe at like 1, 2? Like there's a little chance. I mean, you just never know.
I think the possibility that we were created on accident from aliens is higher than being created on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how do you
but
think
it's
that would have happened? Like they would have just like they're trying to create something else. They're like, oh,
well, it depends on what you mean. I mean, when I say accident, I'm talking about something like the idea of panspermia, where our DNA splashed down to Earth from another foreign planet somewhere,
okay, okay.
right? And so, uh, I know you're like, what's the etymology of those words there?
Yeah,
So
I wasn't familiar.
the idea that aliens. So I do think it's an interesting topic of discussion, though, because it does seem like we have this animal kingdom, and then suddenly there's this separation to humans, and the jump of intelligence between a human and the next most intelligent animal seems to be larger than any two animals.
Yeah,
Especially there at least there's a gradient between like a fruit fly and like like a monkey or a dolphin, and then you can see animals of all varying intelligence. Then you just have this huge gap, and now we have us humans that have sentience. We're able to think about thinking itself. We're able to imagine the future, simulate future scenarios, so that way we don't have to actually live out future scenarios. We can have them die in our heads before we have to die in real life. All these things that make us super cool. And did aliens do that? They could have. Like I said, I don't think it's very high. It's possible. Did you bring that up because is that one of your
it is not. I
big
just
ones?
actually thought I was like, it could be. I mean, like I don't, but what would that entail? Like, if they truly did create us, what would they be coming back to Earth to do? Would they be coming? I mean, because they could be coming back to Earth to coexist. They could be coming back to Earth to enslave. They could be coming back to Earth to destroy us because they're like, oh, that was a mistake. So I mean, I guess that could be a scenario that could fit like all kinds of things. I think, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's truly, it certainly is. Like, we're not like, it's not like we're part transformer or something.
yeah.
Did you know? I'm gonna throw something at you that I just learned a few days ago. Did you know that the girl that played Shia LaBeouf's love interest in the third movie, was it like the Dark Dark of the Moon or whatever it's called, um, is engaged to Jason Statham, that
Uh,
supermodel that played.
is it Giselle?
No, it's I forgot her name, honestly, but she was like she's only like she's 20 years younger than him, I think. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that she is. Good for Jason Statham, honestly. I mean, I always felt like hot take. I always felt like she was hotter than Megan Fox. Like when I saw her in the third one, I was like, oh, this girl's much better looking than Megan Fox. But maybe that had something to do with the fact that I knew nothing about this girl personality-wise, and there was a lot of rumors going around how Megan Fox was difficult, and so, yeah, I don't know. You got really dark.
I know. I pulled up a
yeah.
I pulled up a Google.
You got tan, man, from all this hot weather. If people are knowing what's going on, we're in northern Michigan, and yesterday the heat index reached 105, and I messaged Brandon here, and he just sent me back like a big throbbing penis, and he was like, "Man, this is the greatest ever." And meanwhile, like my loins caught on fire. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah,
it looks like
her name is McDonald's thing.
Rosie Huntington Whitley.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, she's cute. She's great. Like, I just thought that was cool. I was like, oh, I didn't realize she was engaged to and I think they've been together for a while, like 15 years or something like that. They might have been together when she did that movie or right around the time. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it says they have 2 children together as well.
So look at that, man. Little Jason Statham's running around. Little Baldies running around. Oh, man. Do you see any Amish people buy an air conditioner yesterday?
No.
Oh, because that would have been... It's hot. It's hot, man. It wasn't as hot today as it was yesterday, but I don't know. Like, you were outside?
I was, yeah.
Wow. And did you break a sweat? I don't know. Why is it called break a sweat? I don't know. That's a weird, It's a weird thing. All right. Well, I was outside yesterday, and I'll tell you what, my poop melted. So that was weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it melted up. Yeah. I saw a heat wave, and I waved back.
Did you poop out a popsicle?
I could have. No, the popsicle goes on my nipples when it's this hot. It's just...
Go on.
Yeah. Oh, go on. That'll be in the book, I guess.
Okay.
So you can read it.
Check the Patreon.
Yeah. You say Patreon weird. Patreon. You really emphasize those syllables in Patreon. Patreon. I get it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so let's talk more about aliens before we go all crazy. By the way, it was so hot outside that Paris Hilton finally shut the fuck up. I don't know if that's a good joke or not, but
I like it.
It was so hot outside that I farted and I started a forest fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's all. Oh, I got one. Really, one more. It was so hot outside that gangbangers did a drive-by with super soakers. So, yeah. And I got hit. And I was proud of it. All right. So let's talk about aliens. Let's get back to the main meat of this podcast, the meaty part, the meaty flesh. So let's think of some good scenarios of aliens coming here. Now, a good scenario is that first of all, would this be a good scenario? Let's say that like we have a situation where, I don't know if you ever watched the movie District 9, but it was basically like aliens were coming because their planet was kind of dying. I guess this is probably a common theme in other movies too, but where their planet was dying, so they came here. I guess that's Transformers, right? Because in their planet. Yeah. Like, so the aliens come here and then we kind of got to coexist. Like, do you think that like we could coexist with aliens, or do you think that like we're too like there's a lot of not necessarily just Americans but other people on this earth that would be like, yeah, no, like get the fuck out of here. We would immediately start war because we'd be like, no.
I think some people would start war. I don't think it would be immediate, but war would eventually break out as tensions rise. I think that some people would. I don't know if we would have a choice. If aliens have the technology to be able to travel from whatever solar system that they came from, they probably are able to,
I got those guns that obliterate you. Like
that's
just
right.
Like, that just like disintegrate you or liquefy you or whatever.
Yeah. So it'll be up to them if they want to coexist with us, I think.
If we were both liquid, do you think we'd still do the podcast?
Yeah, the liquid awkwards.
Yeah, the liquid awkwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I never liquid before. Yeah, I don't know if that works. Okay, so if aliens came and we wanted to coexist, would you be cool with that? Would you be against it?
No, I'd be fine with it.
Or does it depend on how many? Like, what if it's like another 8 billion? They're like, we got 8 billion, and now we've got 16 billion beings on the planet.
I think that'd be fine. That'd be fine.
You think we got enough to go around? What if they brought some crazy cuisine? Would you try it?
That would be awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like...
what if it was just like their babies, fetuses? But it was like different.
Soylent Grey.
Yeah, some Soylent Grey. would be great. I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to get that reference. Did you have to watch that movie in school? I did watch it in school. Not Soylent Grey, Soylent Green, obviously.
You'd be surprised at what you don't actually have to do in school. I found
That is true. That is true. I mean, if you don't go there, you don't have to do anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. I will say this. That's right. All right. What if okay, so what kind of communication are we looking at here? Like what do you think would be now we have the Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie where they're communicating by like music or musical notes or something. Um how did they do it in The Day the Earth Stood Still? I can't remember how they communicated that way. But they don't always communicate. Sometimes they're just there to annihilate. Um but what would you think would be like, would it be cool if they came down and they gave, like, they did have telepathy, but they also were able to give us, like, telepathy? Or would that be a bad thing?
No, I would like that. That'd be awesome. I mean, I'd sign up.
You want to know what everybody's thinking.
Yeah.
What if that, like, do you remember those movies, like, I think there's, like, let's talk about, like, I guess it'd be, like, those movies where somebody played God. Like, let's talk about what was the Jim Carrey one? Bruce Almighty, right? Um, and then he keeps getting, like, he can hear everybody's prayers, so he's like freaking out and like. So would it be that scenario where like, wouldn't it be really hard to tone everybody out? Like if you're in a big crowd, aren't you going to hear everybody's thoughts? Or maybe the aliens only make it so we can only just understand them and not other humans, which would be probably a better situation.
I'd imagine that you'd have some sort of selective tuning.
Right.
We always see the nose.
You got to like do a little dial. And you got to get it to the right.
Sure, yeah, yeah,
to the right. Get rid of the static.
Yeah, take it down to like a 1.5.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, like you could. What if you asked an alien with no eyes if they wanted to always be? Imagine you're just always seeing, like you're constant, like 24/7 while your eyes are open. You're being blasted with light waves, like, and you can't just like, yeah, we can choose to close our eyes, but we almost never do. We just our brains are just able to handle filtering out what's not important. And as I look, I'm seeing so many things. So many pixels are hitting my eyes that are not important to my brain, so my brain can filter it out. I'd like to think, I don't know if I'm getting too stuffy about this, but like I like to think that if I was hearing other people's thoughts, my brain would just develop really strong filtering mechanisms for deciding what's important and what's not.
Yeah, I could agree with that. And today's probably the best day to get stuffy, just so you know. It's a stuffy day.
Right.
All right, so like, yeah, let's talk about a refugee situation. So like, a fleet comes down, there's 400 million of them, and they've got nowhere to go. And now what if they all like what if there was intermingling? Like do you think there's going to be like a situation where we're going to have like remember when black people didn't have rights? I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't alive for most of the part. I mean, you could technically still say that there's maybe times where they don't. In other countries, there's probably definitely times where they don't now in the modern day. But, um, like, are we going to be like that? Are we going to be like, okay, but you've got your own area. We're going to put you in Nevada because the government owns like 80% of the land there, or maybe Alaska because they own a lot of land there. And you've got to stay there. You got to just kind of be with your own kind. There's going to be alien bathrooms, human bathrooms. Because we don't know how they go to the bathroom. Maybe they don't go to the bathroom at all. Maybe there's some way, like they have like an advanced waste system to where they don't even have to worry about it. I don't know.
So I think that because I understand what you're saying, but I think that it would happen more in reverse. I think it would be like if humans had to go live in a certain jungle and we said to ourselves, what habitats are currently living in that jungle? And what do we do to lessen the amount of impact we're going to have on these existing habitats, the ecosystem that's there? So I think aliens would look at Earth as an ecosystem. And probably with their advanced technology, if I was the alien and I had their technology, I would look at the Earth and I would say the most advanced life form on here that will be maximally disrupted is the human. They live primarily on land, which is like less than 30% of the Earth. So I have all this water that I could live underneath, and I could easily coexist with these guys in a way to where they don't even know I'm there.
Okay.
And if I want them to know we're there, like, I think that they should do that because I'm selfish and I want to know that aliens are here. And I want to learn from them, and I want to know what technologies are there because I love advancement of technology. But yeah, I just think that they would have the technology to be able to survive in water and then make land visits for resources and things as needed without being detected most of the time. So that's my hunch.
Do you think that there's at least one alien on this planet right now? What are the odds?
I'm going to give it a 8.5%.
8.5%. So you think that there's, all right, interesting. So about 1 in 12, something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I would probably go higher. I'd probably say like 25%.
Yeah.
Now
is it like the Men in Black, like, Michael Jackson sort of scenario, or is it the?
I'm thinking more of like a government lab scenario, like not just an alien free and all, like a more of like, hey, we've got one, in a lab somewhere, whether it's Area 51 or whatever you want to say, and we're experimenting on it, which is probably not the best thing. But we're like that, right? We always gotta it's no different than them. Like, remember back in the day when they probed everybody, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
And then nobody talks about that anymore. So maybe, like we had talked about before, maybe they got advanced ways now.
Yeah, that's really interesting because if you take a human, we just talked the last podcast about North Sentinel Island, which is this island where
Great
there's
place
like a
to live. Yeah, that's where I want to live.
Yeah, it's where the tribal people live. Just for a quick background, I forgot exactly where it is, but it's an island with.
Well, we talked about it on a blind ranking that people will be able to see soon at some point.
That's
but
true.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's an island with a primitive tribe of people, and they're very protective. And so people have tried to visit there, but they immediately get you either get killed or you get ran off the island. They'll throw spears at you. I think there's a recording of them throwing spears at a helicopter.
You think they're really good? They're really good at the aim?
I bet they're great.
Oh, yeah. They probably that they got nothing else to do. They ain't watching Seinfeld all day. Or maybe they do. Maybe they got like one TV and everybody, gathers around.
Yeah. So modern humanity, like society in sort of a first world country, is pretty advanced, and we like to think of ourselves as that way. Like we have lots of more knowledge about how the world works. We have all this technology. But if you pluck one of us, if I pluck you from where you are and I put you on North Sentinel Island, you're going to be very weak compared to you're going to be at
right.
So that is a good point that you bring up about. Because when you first said an alien in a government facility, I was thinking to myself, like, what kind of alien is going to allow itself to be, inside of this government facility? However, there's a good chance that aliens might be at the mercy of their technology, because the advancement of their technology might be what makes them so great.
Yeah.
But if you take them out of that element, they are just an organic being that all they have is their intelligence, but they're not able, they might be at the mercy same way we would be if you stuck us on North Sentinel Island.
That's a great thought. That's a really good thought. It's an A+ thought. Just so you know. But I think that also, though, I want to say, like, have you looked at any of the alien files, like the files that they keep releasing? And obviously, there's a lot of it's more acceptable now, right, for people to talk about UFOs because there's all these like military people, and from what I'm hearing is there's military people that don't talk to other military people. Really, it's not like they're like all gathered in a room and they're like, okay, this is what we're going to tell everybody. They've got videos like all over from past years, going back so far to like seeing these objects that we don't know what they are. They don't necessarily need to be filled with aliens, but we don't know what they are. So have you looked at any of that, or have you been on top of any of that? Because it's quite interesting. I haven't seen too much with actual aliens in them, but just the fact that I've seen a lot of videos of weird unidentified objects flying around.
The most recent stuff that's come out in the last couple years, I don't think I'm as caught up on, but there was a time where when a lot of these things were being released that I was consuming lots of information about it. The Tic Tac UFO that people talk about.
Yeah.
David Fravor, I think, was the pilot.
It's not just a breath freshener.
That's right. Yeah. It's also
a UFO. Yeah.
It's also an interdimensional craft.
Right.
With interesting propulsion mechanisms. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like these I remember seeing the video. It's all kind of rough video footage that's sort of plausible in either direction,
right?
And so it's super annoying, and I think we're still at that point where it's just super annoying to everybody who wants to credibly look at the stuff and just finds that it's like the information is all sort of half baked, and it's all like that fuzzy Bigfoot video. You know, that's what it is.
It's and it's a lot like it's like Walmart footage. You ever see like a footage on Facebook or something where they'll be like, "Hey, do you guys know these people coming out of Walmart and they like stole something?" And it's the grainiest footage ever. And I'm like, really? Like with the way cameras are now, you can't have like something that like we don't know. Nobody knows these people. They look like you said, they look like Bigfoot. They're all fuzzy and shit. Yeah, it's crazy. So. Yeah, I'm really interested to see, more of that into. I'm also interested because they have their own like movie, like biography, right? Because Steven Spielberg has Disclosure Day coming out, and then there's like a biography about like senators and stuff talking about actual like stuff that they've seen through video footage and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see all that. Um, we're going to do something fun throughout this podcast. I'm going to give you 3 sets of alien apocalypse movies. So I have 5 different sets of 3 movies each. And every time I give you the 3 movies, you're going to have to pick one that you like the most. Okay. So I'm going to do one right now. And the 3 movies on this first set are Independence Day, War of the Worlds, or A Quiet Place. Which one do you pick out of those 3?
Those are 3 good picks.
They are very good movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But which one hits your tickle bone, which is a bone that I discovered?
I think that I think I have to say this. Yeah. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Independence Day.
For the nostalgia.
For the nostalgia, for honoring 250 years this 4th.
That's true. Oh, good job. Yeah. Yeah, because this podcast will be after our 250th birthday, but it won't be much far after, so people might enjoy that.
And in honor of Bill Pullman's fantastic U.S. president speech.
Wonderful speech. You really can't go wrong with anybody in that movie. Jeff Goldblum. I love Jeff Goldblum from the 90s. He did just the way he talks and everything, and everybody else in that movie. I mean, even Will Smith. You can't argue with like his character in that movie. And it was my favorite movie back in the 90s. And I thought it had such great action. Obviously, if people go back and watch it now, they're going to like kids, like, the generation down from us, if they go down and like watch it now, they're going to be like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, well, at the time it was great. It's going to be like the people who told us that Star Wars had the best, like visual effects at the time. And we watched it in like the 90s, like the 70s movies. And we're like, what? But it's just because of how shit progresses. Okay, so let's talk about some more scenario. I want to talk about, like, what do you think? Because we have to find a way to communicate with these guys, and if they come down, like if they just came down on a big ship on the White House lawn, right, like tomorrow. I don't know what our current president would do, but I know he did post a AI photo of him with an alien in handcuffs, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm thinking he was making a reference to illegal immigrants, but it was still kind of odd. But he's known for doing some odd things. So what do you think, like, how do we communicate with these guys? And we're not scientists, so, we might not have the best ideas of how we would communicate. But obviously, I think we talked before, like, the best person to talk to an alien original, first off, would probably be some kind of scientist. Like, if we wanted somebody to represent us, it would probably be like we're not going to send, like, not even the president, really, like, it should be some type of somebody who kind of knows about space and time, and whether it's Neil deGrasse Tyson or whoever, a lot of people, I think, mention him. But there are communication barriers, and we don't know. And like we said, these people could be, these aliens could be so advanced that, we're not going to know how to communicate. Hopefully they know, like, a way. But, I mean, what do we do? Like, what do we do when we can't communicate? Like, do we throw up gang signs? Do we, like, what do we do? Like, blood, Crips, we're down with the, like, what do we do? You got any ideas?
I do. Well, I think you're right, like a scientist. And even more than a scientist, somebody who is highly intelligent. I mean, one of the things that we measure when we give somebody an IQ test is pattern recognition. And so I think you want somebody with a high degree of pattern recognition, because this is how you're able to make connections with an alien life form, because you're both trying to basically
You want somebody that's played that game. What was that game? Like Copycat or Simon or whatever it is, where you'd have to, like, it'd be a thing, and the tone and the color would come up and you'd have to remember it. So the best
Yeah.
player of that.
Yeah, you don't want the alien to do something and then you immediately draw a wrong conclusion about what it means. You want to be able to, observe and watch and then come up with a hypothesis in your head and play around. It's sort of, I think the movie actually, Arrival is a really great example
Yeah.
of
Now, are you saying Arrival or the Arrival?
I'm saying Arrival with the lady as the lead, not the one with
not Charlie Sheen.
Not Charlie Sheen,
which doesn't
great movie.
It's a great movie, but I did watch it a couple years ago, and it was like it didn't hold up as much as I thought it would.
Yeah,
but
backwards kneecaps are a little weird.
Yeah,
but
yeah, backwards.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, but I'm talking about Arrival with I forgot what her name was, but it's an excellent science fiction movie, and it's about most of it. The movie's about a lot of things, but at its core, there's this problem with how do you communicate with aliens? Like, how do you establish communication? How do you establish a common language? And I like to think out of touch, out of visual, out of sound, that out of those three things, we'd be able to find some way. I find it hard to believe that some alien life form could evolve to be advanced without being able to communicate in at least one of those three ways in which humans can also communicate. So, but sound and visual would be really great if they had those things. So
yeah, it was weird to me because we talked about Independence Day, which was one of the movies you just picked a minute ago, but there's a part in that movie where later on they figure out how to take the ships down, right? Dennis Quaid's brother, Randy Quaid, like just flies into the center of it where the pulse laser or whatever was coming down and like takes it all down. But then they use Morse code around the world to like tell everybody. And I'm like, well, these guys don't know Morse code. Like they're so advanced that they're like, oh, we don't know like the one of the first communication methods that you guys used in wars and stuff like that in the past. And I always thought that was kind of interesting and weird. I mean, there's obviously a lot of flaws in a lot of movies, but you're there for the entertainment value, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Like I try not to think about that. But yeah, communication would be insane. Now, how would you feel if they did come down and just enslave us all?
It depends on how what the enslavement looks like, I suppose.
Right. Put it to work, labor camps.
I would feel not happy about that.
Right.
I'd be frowning.
Right.
Sure.
You'd be a big giant frown. Yeah, and there's also the scenario where if they come down and they don't speak English, there's going to be a lot of people in America and they're like, get out. Because there's a lot of people that don't like people that don't speak English in this country.
Yeah,
which
is
crazy. Yeah, you got to speak it. You know what's crazy, though, is that there's so many countries in Europe where they teach English, like in France and Italy. They teach English from like the 4th or 5th grade on to like the end. They have to learn English for several years, not to mention like their own like knowing their own language. And then like they usually have to learn another language, too. So I feel like some of our educational standards are actually lower than that because we're like a country where, hey, you can. In fact, I don't think a language was ever required for us. Like it was an elective. Maybe it was required in some way, but I remember taking an elective, and I think I told before on this podcast that I took Spanish, and really that was just for. There was always we had a Spanish food day, and I just really enjoyed that day because people were dumb and they'd bring in Mexican food because they didn't realize that they were two different countries. So. Tells you a little bit about America if you're anybody out there watching this that doesn't live in America.
Yeah, that makes me. I just had this conversation the other day about English and how I was glad that it was that it was my first language because it is it's sort of like this. This might be like a reference that most people won't get, but in like fantasy or like Dungeons and Dragons worlds, there's a language in the world called Common, and it's just assumed that just about everybody in the world can speak Common. And then you have these other languages that you can choose when you play these games where it's like, well, I could speak Dwarvish or Elvish or things like that.
Right.
And so it sort of reminds me of how the Earth is now, where I think Common is English. It's like it's the assumed language. If you go to China, you can still assume that somebody there is going to speak English. And there's some people that can't, but yeah, that's why I'm grateful, because if I was born somewhere else, it would be like English is a necessity to learn. Like you really, if you're going to be
Right. Yeah.
anybody,
And I have
if
a
you're going to be
feeling
anybody.
ours would be tough. Like people talk about it being tough. I know Mandarin's supposed to be pretty tough, and Mandarin I think is supposed to be, as far as like people's first language, Mandarin's supposed to be the most common speakers in this world with as their first language. But if you include English in as like a second or third language, then we are the most spoken language. Um, but I imagine like some of our slang, man. There's a comedian. His name's Ismo. I don't know if you ever watched him. I can't remember what country he's from. He sounds like he's from like somewhere in a Dutch, like maybe not Dutch, but like maybe Swedish, maybe Finnish, I don't know. But he talks about like some of the words we use. He talks about the word ass and how we use it for so many things like smart ass, dumb ass, like, and how he breaks down how each version of that is like totally different in like a lot of ways you wouldn't think it. And it is crazy of how much slang we have. No, I'm sure other languages have slang, but I feel like I've heard that English has a lot more slang.
Yeah.
And we kind of just do it. And then, like other countries, like China has Mandarin, like I said, but they have a lot of other different languages in their country. Um, and then we have different versions of English. If you go to a different place, like we're in the Midwest, so we always make jokes about ope, the word ope, OPE.
Mm-hmm.
Eminem says it. Other people say it. It's kind of a Midwestern thing, but you're going to find different dialects in different areas in this country alone, where people are going to be saying different things. Y'all, like we don't say y'all really up here, but they do in the South. Um, so it's interesting. It's very interesting. So you wouldn't want to be enslaved, obviously. Depending on the situation, you wouldn't want to be in a labor camp. What if it's just like stay in your property, you can't go anywhere. We'll bring you everything.
Stay in my property.
Yeah, like you can't go. Like everybody has to stay where they're at, and the aliens are gonna go do their thing. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna fuck about town. I don't know. They're gonna do whatever they want to do, but we can't go anywhere. They're gonna bring you everything. They're just gonna be like our DoorDash for everything.
I don't think I like that. I want
You
freedom.
you want to be able to
Yeah.
go. You like the
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah, we've just
Yeah, that's right.
yeah yeah that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like the freedom.
I need the freedom to be able to move around a little bit and not be stuck in one spot. So yeah, I wouldn't like that.
All right, all right, all right. I gotcha. Um, I got some more movies for you if I can find them. Um, all right, let's do another set of movies. You got
All
Independence
right.
Day 4, okay? You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Signs, Pacific Rim, or The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I'm gonna go science on this
Yes.
one.
I
Yeah.
would agree with you. The Day the Earth Stood Still is kind of not that great of a movie, if you ask me. It's kind of weird. Pacific Rim, if you like action, I mean, I liked it, but there's something about Signs, and I think everybody points to the moment when they're watching TV and they show these people like filming in like I think in Mexico or something like that, and all of a sudden like it's just like a narrow alley, and then an alien walks by, and it's that moment where I think a lot of people talk about like getting the heebie-jeebies from, and they remember that moment. I remember the moment. It didn't really scare me, but I remember that, and I thought that was really cool. And I thought it was a great movie. The only weird thing about that movie is, are you telling me that no? I mean, the biggest thing that we learn in on Earth and from scientists and stuff is that we're trying the best way to find life on other planets is by knowing if they've got water. And these aliens are dying because of our own water. Unless that's maybe just something where they're talking about maybe our water's just bad. Maybe like on the pH scale, it's not that great, or there's something wrong with it. We got hard water, and that's why they're dying. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. What's your favorite thing about aliens? Do you have a favorite thing about aliens? I'm wondering.
Yeah. My favorite thing is well, it's knowledge. It's knowledge and technology.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to be. Tell me what you got. Like, show us what you got. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's bump up.
You
Let's bump us up to the
show
next
me what
level.
you got. You sound like a Rick and Morty episode. I don't know if you
Yeah. I
know
mean,
the one I'm
show me.
referring to, but
I don't, but I can imagine.
yeah.
But yeah, I want to know. That's the big thing. That's what excites me about them. That's what I like about them. And I have to imagine that as you get more technologically advanced, you had to have evolved it. Like it's almost, I can't imagine that you could do that without cooperation.
Yeah.
Therefore, you would probably also evolve for advanced cooperation abilities.
Right.
Therefore, you probably would be less likely to want to visit a planet and just wipe every life form out. So I find it highly unlikely. Like, I find the idea of aliens to be mostly likable if they visit us, because I think that it's going to go well.
All right. So do you think, so is that your thought? Like, if they do come, do you think that that's more like in a friendly manner than if they're just going to like get rid of us all, or like the big thing is they're going to come and extract us, or come and try to extract like some precious metals out of our earth because they need them. But I feel like that people say that because that's exactly how humans are. Like that's like the basis of Avatar. Like, is that you're going to go to another planet and take all their shit and not care about like whoever's there. And but to me, it's like, well, that's just how humans are. So that's probably why we come to that conclusion.
I think that humans do that out of ignorance for how it affects the environment.
Right.
But I think that even humans, we have problems. You know, we want to set up a new oil drilling operation, and a certain subset of humans rise up and say, well, there's endangered quails that live here, right?
Right.
And so now we have all this red tape just for quails. And so I think that,
wow,
you know,
you're really getting down on the quails.
No, I can't stand those guys. So
damn quail.
Yeah, so I think that if humans, put it this way, if we found life on Mars, if we returned some of these Mars samples that we landed there and gathered, and we found a hint of life, it would be a huge conundrum for us. It would be conversations about how do we ethically send future rovers and landers, like, because we don't know if something is currently living there, we would already be talking about it, even if it was just spores or amoebas or bacteria, right? Yeah. So if we found like frogs hopping around on Mars, that would be another huge conversation that we would have around. So I think that humans get a bad rap over like all the things that we do that are not environmentally friendly, if that's the word. But I think that we actually do quite a bit of consideration for when we find situations where we're like, oh man, like are there penguins, in Antarctica? Like what is living there? It's like, well, we want to be careful with our science because we don't want to necessarily disturb the ecosystem. And so yeah, I think aliens would be an advanced form of that.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why we don't want to disturb it, right? Like, it's not just because we're like, oh, the poor penguins. Like, it's more about like these people who are like I know, like the polar bears right now are having trouble because it's getting warmer up there, and and the grizzly bears are moving more north. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, who cares? Get rid of the polar bears. And it's like, okay, I understand like like a polar bear's going to kill you or something, or they got a chance, but you don't know what that's going to do, right? Like you don't know how that's going to affect everything down the line. And that's a good reason too, I think, is that like you just don't want to wipe out a species for the hell of it because you don't know what else it might affect. And I mean, it could be numerous things. So just kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same way it's like, I don't think we need mosquitoes. I think we should eradicate all mosquitoes.
Right.
But I don't know how they exactly fit into the ecosystem. And I know that we've worried about like, well, if we do just wipe them all out, does that cause some other unforeseen situation where it collapses an ecosystem that we all depend on? So
yeah. Population control. I mean, a lot of people might say, religious people might say, this is God's way of keeping, population down or whatever it is, whether it's plagues or something like that. It was the rats or whatever from the Black Plague. And then, mosquitoes, malaria, right? Like they're carrying a lot of different things. So like, I mean, it'd be great to not have people die from malaria, but maybe there's a reason for some of this shit. I don't know. So you just don't know.
That's true, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what time it is?
What's
Tool
that?
time. No, I'm sorry. I just recently watched an episode of Home Improvement. I don't know why.
It's time for our fake sponsors.
Well, it's that time for our fake sponsors. We are fake sponsored by Wallpepper. Is wall salt just not cutting it? Need to add a little spice to your living room? Wallpepper comes in a convenient glitter bomb, so all you have to do is open it and let the pepper spread. Remember, it's not ground pepper, it's wallpaper. We are also fake sponsored by War. When you get bored with peace, try War. Have money to spend on starving children? Spend it on war instead. Have money to spend on helping the needs of the poor? Spend it on war instead. Have money to spend it on kids' cancer research? Spend it on war instead. War. It makes a great distraction. Back to you, Warlord Brandon. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to call you a warlord.
That's fine.
I just know you're a big fan of war. No, I'm just kidding. You're not. The game, the card game. Fun game. Kind of. Not really. Not that great. All right. Well, I've got a segment here. And I do have media for this segment. Are you ready? For the people, this is called Hard to Answer Questions. And let's listen to what kind of media I have for this.
Hard to answer questions. Hard to answer questions.
All right. This is a new segment that we're doing, and this is just questions that I come up with for you. And we're going to see how hard these questions are for you to answer. Now, this one's going to be tailored specifically to aliens because that's what our podcast episode is about today. So I have, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions for you, Brandon. And I'm just going to see what you say about them. So my first question is, if an alien came down to Earth tonight and asked you to come with him to his home planet, no questions asked, would you stop at Chipotle before you left? No, you wouldn't stop there. You'd be like, you would. What if you don't like? What if you don't like? There's a chance you might not like anything that they have to eat wherever they take you.
I would maybe I'd stop at Culver's, I think.
Culver's would be so not Chipotle.
Yeah.
I just didn't pick the right restaurant for
I'd go
you.
to Culver's with like, and I a crispy chicken sandwich in a meal with
Would you offer the alien some as well?
For sure, yeah. I'd get some for the whole crew, yeah.
Yeah, for the whole for the whole crew. I got you. All right. If you caught the Predator alien from the movies and turned him into the police, would you call yourself Chris Hansen?
I would have to change my name, wouldn't I?
Yeah. You did catch a Predator.
Yeah. I would maybe like a partnership or something. Or I would take one of the names. I take maybe the first name.
Did you ever hear why that show ended? Do you know the case of why To Catch a Predator ended?
No.
They found a prominent person who was, a predator of some sort, and they were going to go after him, and they didn't get the police involved, I don't think, at first. And the guy killed himself in his house. So that caused a big backlash and an uproar, and they had to stop the show. Just kind of interesting when I found that out. All right, so some more. We got 3 more hard to answer questions for Brandon. If 2 aliens picked you up as a hitchhiker and flew you to your favorite destination, where would it be and why would it be a Diddy party?
I think this sounds like I'd be somewhere in Mexico. And why would it be a Diddy party?
Yeah.
Most baby oil is manufactured in Mexico, actually.
That's true. So you think that you would just...
close to the source. You want to be close to the source.
Yeah, you want to be close to the source. All right.
Yep.
All right.
There it is.
If an alien hired you as a spy to report back to them from Earth and paid you an unlimited amount of money, how many times would you have sex with that alien?
At a minimum, there's a minimum that you have to, because like biblically speaking, it's like once a day probably, and then
it's once a day. Okay.
Yeah, and then you go up
for all the religious folks out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go up from there.
It's for science, and above that, it's for nationalism. Is why I would do it.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So these aren't really that hard to answer for you. Like you're kind of right.
No, they're
on
pretty
top
easy.
Of them. Yeah,
I had answers. I got my answers ready. Yeah.
Well, that's right. You got the answers to the quiz. You're cheating. You got them.
That's right.
I got you. All right. If you married the girl of your dreams and then found out she was an alien disguised as a human and she is helping her race take over Earth, how would you murder your children?
I would probably
bathtub or
yeah. Well, I mean, bathtub it's pedestrian, and I'm trying to think, something a little more highbrow.
You want to go convoluted.
Yeah.
You're trying to get
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, I might have stumped you on this. I officially gave you a harder to answer question.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those videos on like 4th of July fireworks shows when something goes wrong and they all explode really close to the docks?
Yeah, that's how you would murder your children?
Well, that's just a way to do it, you know.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I gotcha. I mean, we're saying this because you had kids with the alien, and she's obviously now they're alien, half human hybrids.
Right.
Now, maybe you could change them. Maybe you could defeat her. And I should have said, hey, how would you murder your wife? Because she's actually the one like.
Well, I wouldn't murder. I would stay with her.
I got you. But the
Yeah.
children, yeah. It's actually not even because of that reason. You just want to murder the children.
I just want to be free. You just got to get rid of your.
From the burden. From the burden
Exactly.
involved. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been hard to answer questions. So, wait a minute. I hear something.
Hard to answer questions. Hard to answer questions.
All right. It's nice.
That's good.
That's nice. All right.
Very good.
Annihilation, Edge of Tomorrow, or Mars Attacks?
For sure, Edge of Tomorrow.
That's a good movie. That's a that's a good Tom Cruise movie. Something I've been trying to find lately that I want, because I want to watch it again, but it's not on any of my streaming devices. But
yeah, I do the Google like Edge of Tomorrow streaming online free, and then usually like one of the 10 results that you get like 3 pop-ups on ends up playing.
Yeah, it's
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
Edge of Tomorrow is such a great movie. It's got it's up there. Like if I really think about it, it might be like my top 10 movies of all time. Even I really love that movie.
Wow.
I think as far as a Tom Cruise movie, it's probably top 3, if not the favorite top Tom Cruise movie of mine.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really fantastic movie.
Let's talk about some bad things that could happen when aliens come down. Let's talk about this. Aliens make contact. They don't just threaten. They offer certain governments are approached privately, stand aside, and your people will be spared and elevated. That's what they ask them. They say, hey, stand aside, your people will be spared, and they will be elevated. Some refuse, some accept. Within weeks, the invasion is also a human civil war, with collaborator fractions dismantling defenses from the inside while resistant movements fight on 2 fronts simultaneously. So this is an interesting scenario. You have the aliens coming down and they're saying, stand aside. Everything's fine, even though you're not sure if you're going to believe that. And then you have some people agreeing to that. And then you have other people who don't agree with that. And then now, because of that, you have humans fighting each other for each different side. So it becomes like the aliens are a secondary thing. We're just fighting ourselves again. In that scenario, I don't know. Is that a tough scenario, or is that just like a scenario where it's like, it is what it is? Like, what do you do?
It is what it is. I tend to enjoy imagining the chaos.
Yeah. You want to see the world burn.
I want to see it. I don't want to feel it, but I want to see it. Yeah.
It is burning right now. Yeah. I mean, it was burning the last couple of days. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So like, I don't actually want people to die, but there is a certain amount of, there's an element to chaos that I can enjoy.
No, I think that's a human instinct. I think there's a lot of people that like chaos as long as they're not involved in the chaos.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why. Oh, go ahead.
That's why Days of Our Lives was such a big hit, right?
Right. Like soap operas. Like people love drama. People love drama. There's a situation where, you can't take your eyes off a car wreck if you drive by. Like people see that stuff. They don't want to be in that scenario. And unfortunately, our first thought is usually never to be like empathetic. It's usually like, holy shit, look at that, But eventually I think we get into more of the empathy and stuff like that. But we do have that instinct of like just kind of wanting to see that. So I totally get it. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I think everybody at some point in their time has said, you know what? I'd be okay with watching the world burn. But then they usually like come out of it and they're like, well, yeah, obviously I don't want to like see people die or anything. It'd just be an interesting scenario to watch that happen. All All right, here's one. And this one's interesting because this is kind of what you would refer to on our AI takeover Doomsday podcast about us being like a zoo farm, like how AI could just see us as like like we're zoo animals at some point, like, as it progresses into singularity and all that. So the war is fast and total. Within 3 weeks, every major military is neutralized without the aliens taking a single casualty. That would be tough. But they don't exterminate us. They manage us, and cities are rebuilt in controlled habitats. Food is provided. Disease is eliminated. Violence between humans is simply prevented by technology we don't understand. It looks almost comfortable, but there is no ambition, no exploration, no self-determination. Children are born into it and know nothing else. The darkest part isn't the captivity. It's the generation that stops remembering what freedom felt like, and the generation after that which never wonders about it at all. Now, I already know, I feel like I might have had you for the first half of this, but then when we started talking about all the freedoms coming up, because the first half doesn't actually sound bad. Cities are rebuilt in controlled habitats, food is provided, disease is eliminated. That sounds wonderful. But then we get to the point where we have no ambition. We don't explore things anymore. We have no self-determination. So how do you feel about all that? How do you feel about the first part? First part sounds great.
The first part is okay, but I have to have the ability to feel like I'm on some frontier, whether it's the frontier of technology or art or something else. I have to be able to explore in some direction. If I'm truly caged off in all directions and they're saying, look, we'll give you food and entertainment and you can just sit there and have drool fall from your lips, then there's going to be something wrong with
being
that.
Like a mental asylum where you're just given a bunch of drugs and stuff. Is space the final frontier, Brandon? Or maybe is it like bread or something else?
Is bread? I think that space is one of the frontiers, but I think that also the world of, the quantum world is another frontier as well.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, getting smaller and being Ant-Man. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
time. There's a lot. I think the difference between the smallest thing that we know of and the size of a human is like 1,000 times more of a difference than the size of a human to the largest thing that we know about. It's like I remember watching a video that was talking about how much deeper the miniature world is, right? The microscopic world and the nano and the quantum world. So there's a lot of things there to explore. I think a lot of things will be explained, like the mystery of consciousness and like a lot of weird things that we're not sure how to explain will be explained more by diving into the quantum world. And so that's a major frontier that I'm excited for us to continue learning about.
I enjoy that. And I have sent those questions over to Paul Rudd, but I have not had any response
He's busy,
back.
Yeah,
he's a busy guy. He's rudding it up. All right. Here's another scenario. No ships. No dramatic arrival. Just a slow accumulation of anomalies. Officials who change their positions inexplicably. That kind of happens now. Infrastructure decisions that make no human sense. Financial systems that seem to route wealth somewhere unknown. By the time a credible whistleblower puts it together, the infiltration is 40 years deep. This could be happening now as I'm talking about this. Aliens have been here since the mid-20th century, patient and methodical, quietly dismantling humanity's ability to resist without us ever declaring a war or firing a shot. The most chilling part, when the truth finally comes out, there's nothing to fight. The invasion already happened. We just didn't notice. This one, I feel, I don't know, I'm going to get your opinion on it in a second. I feel like it's the most plausible one. It's kind of like, what is that saying? The world won't go out in a bang, it'll go out in a whimper kind of like thing. It kind of reminds me of that. Like we think that it's going to be one way where they're going to come down and they're going to shoot lasers at everybody and they're going to kill and obliterate us all. But this could just be like this situation where maybe they have control of the government. Maybe they have control of the people and we just don't know it, like the Illuminati or, all these different conspiracy theories. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that one. I think that one's also the most plausible.
Yeah.
And it's one that's probably happening. I think it's already happened. It doesn't take aliens for that situation to happen. I think it's humans are also doing that to other humans.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You had Epstein Island going on for how many decades before somebody basically doing the same.
Tuskegee experiment, MK Ultra,
Yeah.
the concentration camps that we had that we put Japanese people in during World War II. There's so many things, right? And there's things that we don't know about at the time, but then we learn about later. And then we're like, holy cow, that was a horrible atrocity, but yet we just didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you ready for your next batch of movies?
I am, yeah.
All right. Cloverfield, The Fifth Wave, or 10 Cloverfield Lane. Have you seen all three of these? Oh. Have you seen any of these?
No.
Oh, this is a rough one for you, though.
I've seen
you
pieces of
vaguely
them, though.
know what Cloverfield is about. It's like the big giant
Yeah.
monster that takes over New York, that kind of creeps up from the ocean. 10 Cloverfield Lane is like the one with John Goodman, where he's got a girl in the house and he keeps telling her at the end of world's happening, but like he's kind of sadistic and the other guy is there too, and so they don't really know. But then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for anybody, she gets out and she escapes and she realizes the world is ending and she's got to like fight an alien. And I think it is part of the Cloverfield universe or whatever. And then The Fifth Wave, not that great. I think that was that Chloe Grace Moretz, or am I thinking of a different?
I don't know.
I might be thinking of a different
I will
one.
pick 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I will pick it because of John Goodman and because of this, from what I've seen of it, the clips,
It's a good movie.
camera, the camera style is more easier to follow. I did see bits and pieces of Cloverfield, the first one.
Yeah.
And
that's first person, like that's not the
that I didn't jive with that much. So
I didn't know you jived at all, but that's cool.
I jive. I get down.
You get down. You get down with the jiving. Yeah, I would encourage people to go out and watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. In fact, all these movies, there's 15 in total that I'm going to end up telling you. We've gone through 12 already, but I would tell everybody to watch. And 10 Cloverfield Lane is great because you have this thrilling, suspenseful thing. I've kind of given away the part where the end of the world is happening, but there is that part where, like, the first half of the movie, you're just kind of like, okay, is John Goodman just a crazy dude who's just keeping these people there? And then when you realize that he's not, it's very, it's crazy. And then the second half is like a whole different movie. So it is really
When we're all done, by the way, are you gonna do a bracket? Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, you're gonna have 5 movies, and then you're gonna determine, and then I think I'm just gonna have you rank them from like 1 to 5. We'll just have like it's almost like a blind ranking, but you will already know that they're there, so it's a sight ranking. It's an opposite of Stevie Wonder ranking. Yeah. All right, we've got one more scenario to go through, and it is the Extinction Protocol. All right. I had a 9th one. It involved a lot of anal, so I took that one out. So we're just going to do this one instead. They don't communicate. They don't negotiate. The first sign of their arrival is a simultaneous EMP strike that kills every electrical grid on Earth in under 4 minutes. What's that mean, Brandon? No more internet. No more, what else?
Utilities.
No more utilities. A lot of stuff. Satellites aren't going to work at all.
Most cars don't drive.
Yeah, cars, like the newer models, you might be able to get something that's old to work. What follows is not a war. Wars have 2 sides. It's a systematic, methodical erasure. Erasure? I don't know. It's a funny word. Their technology is so far beyond ours that resistance doesn't slow them down. It just determines the order of operations. The most haunting detail isn't that destruction. It's the complete absence of malice. They don't hate humanity. They don't fear us. We simply registered as a potential future threat, and they are nothing if not thorough. In their logs, if they keep any, Earth is a single line item. Threat neutralized. Moving on. What do you think about that one?
I like it.
Oh, yeah. The chaos? Yeah. The chaos of it all?
I think that this is not the least possible of all the scenarios.
Right.
I think I think this is a possibility. I don't think it's a strong one. But if an alien civilization decides to treat us that way, I think that is how it would go down. It would go down in such an absolute, like, iron fist kind of way that we just have really no say in the matter. They wipe us out.
There's a sense of, we automatically assume, I think most people assume it's going to be bad, like if aliens come, right? Like they assume that it's almost destruction. Maybe that's from media, maybe that's from movies. There's been a lot of movies where the aliens just come down and they take us out, or they're bad. Like I said, there's Stephen King movies where you've got like E.T. and Super 8 and Close Encounters. You've got all these different movies where they're not really bad aliens. There's a reason, or, and it's not really like an apocalyptic takeover type thing. But Ridley Scott then does and comes out and does the alien movies where, they're the fucking crazy alien movies with Sigourney Weaver and stuff. And I think there's just people who automatically think that that's going to be the way it goes. But we should be happy because first of all, if they are coming here and visiting us, we already know that they have better technology, right? Because we can't see any signs of life from what we can see now in the solar system that we can see. So, although I think there's like spots near and there where we're saying that, maybe this planet or this planet is kind of like Earth or whatever. But we should be grateful if they come down and don't do anything, right? It's like you're talking to something that could destroy you at any minute. It's kind of like humans and dogs. It's like I don't think dogs should be grateful because I don't think humans should be going around like slaughtering dogs. But I'm just saying it's kind of that relationship where we have animals around and we're just allowing them to be animals. We're allowing them to just do whatever they want. And we're not going to just, for most of us, aren't going to just go out and kill them all because it's like, oh, we're humans, we're, powerful. We got to be all manly about it and kill them. So I think we should be grateful if they do come and do some of these things we're talking about. I don't know. Aliens, to me, I've been interested in them for about 30 years. Yeah, about 30 years, I would say. In my early teens, I learned about them. Our wonderful grandmother, who has passed away now, but she did live to a wonderful age of 91 years old. She had a book about, I remember it was the first book I ever looked at that had something to do with aliens. And she had a book about like famous UFO sightings. I remember learning about the Roswell thing. I remember having conversations with her, and I used to love going over there and having conversations about her. With our grandmother, it was always conversations about aliens, for me anyways. And with our grandfather, it was like conversations about world wars or something. He was like a lot into the history. But at that time, I was too young to care about history. Care about history a lot more than I did then. But what is when did you first start learning about aliens, and were you interested in right away or were you skeptical?
I think that it's a little bit like you. I've always thought the idea was interesting ever since I was younger, but I didn't, as you get older, you start considering historical aspects of it more in a deeper way. So there's no like certain like paradigm changing like moment in my life where I was like, now I care about aliens more than
You've always
anything
found
else.
it interesting.
I've always found it interesting.
Are you
yes.
more interested now, though, you think, than you when you were like younger, or does it like the same?
It's about the same.
Is
Yeah.
it?
I've
Okay.
gone through it ebbs and flows, right? There's periods where I've cared a little bit more or a little bit less, but it's about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're more interested in AI. Like you're more, you're bigger
Technology,
on AI.
AI.
And I don't even know like when the first time I ever heard the word AI, but I mean, maybe it was when I was in my teens. I don't know. Wasn't there a computer that like beat like a chess champion or something back in the 90s or something like that?
Yeah, it was like, I think Kasparov was with the chess champion and maybe even 80s, 90s, but there was it was the first time that they were really on the world stage. It was like
Right.
the grand champion.
Beat him with a
chess
2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. That's a weird way to win chess, but hey, it works.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes.
So this happened, and they were sort of like, well, the writing's on the wall for these types of things. But that didn't, it took a long time before that would translate to other things.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that AI was able to beat the top ranked player in Go, which is a popular game in China, which is
right, okay.
It's a board, like a logic based board game with moves that you can make against one other person, 1v1.
Yeah.
And it's where you got black and white pieces on a board, and you can sort of do certain things and turn pieces white, turn pieces black. And because of the nature of that game, there's so many other branching possibilities for that game, even than there is for chess.
Wow.
That it took AI longer to sort of solve that game. But
Okay.
then there was a big moment in the last, like, it might have been like somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago now that it happened, where I think it was Google's Alpha Mind, I think they called it, and that or they called it AlphaGo maybe, but they had an engine, an AI that beat that person, and that was a really big moment. And of course, then we've had
So when you say engine, you mean Native American. Are you slandering a name right now?
that's right. Yeah, I'm very anti. Yeah, yeah. It's you've
Oh,
heard it here.
all
Yeah,
right. I'm sorry. I've met many Native Americans. They're wonderful people. I love them. So I just want to get that out there.
yeah,
Let's talk a little bit as we kind of wrap up this show, and then of course we're going to go over your movie list here in a minute. But let's talk about AI and aliens. And because we had talked before about how I believe in one of our AI predicts the future episodes, AI had said something about how somebody's going to have a video, a fake of an actual UFO or an alien sighting or whatever it is, and it's gonna hit the news and people are gonna believe it for like 24 hours or something like that. And we are kind of at the perfect apex of this right now, right? Where AI and aliens are both kind of rising up in the conversation, and it's not necessarily a good thing, right? Because how many people are going to be skeptical? You get this right now with politics, right? Where people post a video and they're like, oh, that's AI. So how bad is it going to be when somebody like posts a video and they're like, there's going to be like half and half, right? There's going to be people like, oh God, this is really happening. And there's going to be those other people who are like, oh dude, you just made this with, cling or whatever. You
yeah.
made this with something. And
The irony is that we were at a point where, regardless of if the video is real or not, you're probably going to have about an equal split of people who believe it and people who don't. So you're going to have a video that is fake that looks really convincing, and some people will believe it, but then a lot of people are going to be naturally skeptic anyway.
yeah.
But you could also actually have a real alien visit, and I don't know if everybody's going to believe it now. We've passed this point where
right,
you
unless
just
you're
can't have,
there in the moment, like
yeah,
live in the moment. Like, yeah, what are you gonna like?
yeah.
You could have a live video come on, and people are like, "Oh no, dude, this is just fake."
Unanimous belief is going to be really hard. I used to think there was this interesting Christian point of view about like Jesus coming back, where it was, I remember for a while we were thinking, well, with the internet and TV and live video, you could sort of see how this could be fulfilled, right? Like,
Yeah,
one person could come back and every eye could possibly see because we all have screens, phones, and stuff like that. But now we're passing this threshold where that is not true anymore, because even if you saw, no matter what you're seeing on your phone, you really just don't believe it.
right. Yeah, it is crazy. I wanted to ask you, because you kind of when you said about the whole Jesus coming back thing, you kind of brought me to a point from earlier because I had asked you if aliens created us, like if you had believed in that theory. There's another theory out there from mainly some religious people who feel like, and I've heard like I think even our vice president say this, that aliens are demonic, like they're demons from hell or whatever it is. Like, how much do you subscribe to that theory?
I don't. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it is kind of it. I would almost subscribe more to them making us, like them being our creator, over them being like some kind of demons from whether they're fallen angels. I'm not exactly sure what they really mean by that, but it is weird.
Yeah.
And that's what also scares me, because if people believe that, then that doesn't make me think that they're going to give a good reaction to aliens coming to this planet, right? Like, so
Yeah.
you have that kind of situation where you have your own religious belief. It's like, if aliens come, are there going to be religious people who are so set in their ways and so stout and devout to whatever denomination of Christianity or whatever religion they believe in, that they just are not going to accept this as anything but a demon or a fallen angel or something like that, because it almost clouds their worldview, right? Because it's almost like
Yeah.
dinosaurs. It's almost like those people, they're like, well, dinosaurs are actually the devil. Like the devil left those behind, like all the archaeologists and the things that we found. And I don't really
Yeah.
subscribe to that either. But there are people like it doesn't fit their narrative. So like, how are they going to react? Like, what are they going to do? Because it's definitely, it's not like aliens are mentioned in the Bible, just like dinosaurs aren't mentioned in the Bible. So how do you navigate that, and how do you talk these people, especially nowadays where we're getting into a little bit more of a Christian nationalism kind of topic, and we're, in Texas recently they're saying that now that they're going to teach Bible stories for every grade, which is you're getting a little weird now.
Yeah. Well, I've also seen, but I mean, looking up at New York, there's also a stronger socialist democratic wave that is
it's happening. It happened in Colorado last night too in the election.
Did it?
And there's in the mayor, that's the cat mayor. Mayor. The mayor of Seattle is also a Democratic socialist. So, and that's another thing I think we should talk about in the future, because I think there's a lot of people who confuse democratic socialism with socialism or communism, and it's not like that. Like, they have a whole platform, and I think it'd be interesting to talk about that in the future.
And I've seen I think it's great to talk about too, because I've seen examples where people have taken one of these, like one of the persons that's been elected, and then they go back through the history and then they cherry pick the most extreme things that they've said and extrapolate that to be like, this is what they're going to bring about.
And they do the same thing with like fascists, right? They're like, oh, Hitler, immediately, Hitler. So it's like, okay,
exactly,
calm down. Like, there's like, I really don't think that those forms of communism, fascism, I don't think they exist in the way that they did then. They're different now. All of them are. Some of them are still kind of bad. There's going to be bad aspects, obviously, but I just don't think they're like that.
It is funny that we grow up with our parents saying things like, don't look at, the advice is don't look at what somebody says, look at what they actually do.
Right. Actions speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words. But then we look at politicians and we're like, no, but they said this thing that one time.
Yeah.
So that means that's what's
we
happen.
forgot about the actions speak louder than words really quick as gets. They probably should have rooted that into our brains a little bit more. But that'll be interesting. We'll probably do some more episodes on that. Are you ready for your last 3 movies?
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Battleship, Battle of L.A., and Ender's Game. I don't know if you've watched. I feel like you've probably at least watched one of these, but I don't know.
I'll pick Ender's Game, and not because
Have you watched Ender's Game?
No. I'll pick it because I know it's based on a book or a book series, maybe.
Yeah.
That is highly rated, and that lots of people love.
It has a super, super, super controversial ending, and I don't know if this is. I don't know, because I didn't read the book, but I don't know if this is the ending that was in the book, or if this was just an ending that Hollywood said, we're going to go with this instead because we don't like that ending in the book. But if you watched it, I can almost guarantee you that if we came back to these three, if you watched all 3 of these movies, I can almost guarantee you that you would not pick Ender's Game, because it is how long has it been out? I suppose I could just say, unless you're planning on watching it tonight. It's been out for a while though. Now, so obviously it's kids, right? Like, it's these intelligent kids who are like training to like fight aliens, basically from a computer. Like, they're just doing it all there, and it's like drones or whatever that are going out and doing it. Well, the final test, they do a final test, and they finally beat them. They're like, oh yeah, because they keep testing them throughout the movie. But the kids are very like, they don't really know why they're doing this. They're just trained to do that. And there's obviously some who are like, I don't know, I have morals. Like, why am I actually just killing these things when I don't know? Like, you're just telling me to kill them. So they do the final test and they do kill him, but then the main person who's running all this reveals to him that wasn't a test. That was actually them killing them.
I thought that was how the books went. Isn't that how the book is?
Okay, maybe that's what I wasn't sure. So if you do agree with that, maybe you are okay with that ending, but I just didn't like that ending. I was like, that's kind of I don't know. It's not Mist level ending, the Mist level ending, which is, I guess, another movie I could have said here, but it wasn't really apocalyptic with the Mist. I feel like it was just in one town. All right, so are you ready for this, to rank these 5 movies that you have? So these are the 5 movies. We had 15 to start, each 3-movie block, and you chose one of them. You have Independence Day, you have Signs, Edge of Tomorrow, which I'm kind of leaning towards you, considering you said that was like one of your favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, keep going.
10 Cloverfield Lane, and Ender's Game. So what are 1 through 5?
from worst to best, number 5 is Ender's Game.
Yep. Okay.
And it's not because of the story. It's because the clips that I've seen that the child actor, I think was...
You just hate that actor.
Yeah, I just hate him.
You hate child actors in general. You were like, I remember you watching Home Alone and you were like, fuck that Macaulay Culkin. Gosh,
That's
why
right,
is he always... Yeah.
I can use aftershave and not scream in the mirror.
I think most people could, like even at his age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But all right.
So number 5 is Ender's Game. Number 4 is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Number 3 is Signs.
Ooh, okay.
Number 2 is Independence Day.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. All right. That's a good list, though. So Edge of Tomorrow, Independence Day, Signs, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Ender's Game.
Although, can I say something?
Yeah.
The first list of 3 movies you gave me, all 3 of those would have been higher on the list.
I was going to say, the way I did it was kind of, it was kind of unfair to you because I'm just picking my own 3 set of movies and then giving you one to choose from that. So I understand. If you had the whole list of 15 in front of you, you would have ranked these.
Yeah, what was the first triplet?
The first triplet, other than Independence Day, was War of the Worlds and A Quiet Place, which I agree with you. They're all great movies. They're iconic. Gosh, there's so many iconic points in War of the Worlds. There's so many. A Quiet Place is so great. It's one of the quietest movies I've ever watched for obvious reasons. But yeah, I thought that was great. And then even the second one, I don't really like The Day the Earth Stood Still. Maybe you do. But Pacific Rim, I mean, I was okay with that movie. I mean, that might be up there for you.
It was okay. It just had like this sort of like Michael Bay sort of sheen on it that was it's like the movie was sort of made to be consumed by the masses. And
right.
It didn't have
a very blockbuster type movie. And that's how I feel about Battleship and Battle of LA. Although I do like all those movies, I'm a big fan of any type of alien movie. I love all alien movies. I don't know if you are the same, but and I was thinking about doing where there's like not just general alien movies, but there is a lot.
Yeah, and there's more, you could have put Mars Attacks on there. You could have put...
I did put Mars Attacks.
Oh,
I did have it in the third one, Annihilation, Edge of Tomorrow. Just because it was, you forgot about the other. As soon as I said Edge of Tomorrow, you were like, that's it. You didn't even hear Mars Attacks, probably. But right, there's definitely more on there. And then the friendlier ones, like we said, like, I'm a big fan of E.T. I'm a big fan of Close Encounters. I really liked Super 8. I thought Super 8 was a great movie. So yeah, there's definitely different variations, and I'm looking forward to Disclosure Day, although I don't know if that's more of a action or more of a thriller. It seems like it's more of a thriller than anything, but yeah,
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Also, I recommend, I think I've told you this before and I just recently watched it again. I recommend the movie Dark Skies or another movie, The Fourth Kind, which I think I've talked about. And those are movies about like just one family dealing, or one person like in one household dealing with like an alien type abduction or encounter or something like that. Also, there's another one that just recently came out on Hulu a couple years ago. What was it called? Like No One Can Save Me or something like that, which was another good alien movie where it's just this one girl dealing with like an alien. I like those movies. They're a little bit more personal. They can be a little bit more suspenseful and thrilling, where you're just focused on the one thing going on. So just some recommendations for people out there. Mr. Brax the Destroyer, do you have any final thoughts on aliens?
Yeah, there's this idea that it's a common idea that people seem to have about aliens, where they would view the human race through the lens of either that humans must be really stupid, or humans are really cruel, humans are violent.
Yeah.
And I don't think that any of those are true. I think that this is a human-centric... I think that we look at ourselves and we do like this
We can't think out of the side of the box like that. We can't think about what they're going to think. But we try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my point it has always been that when we look at animals, we never have these thoughts. Like what's the most violent animal that we know of?
Well, I mean, polar bear probably is up there, but
right. But we don't. But we understand. But that's the thing is that we understand that that's its nature. We don't look at it as We don't assign a morality to it.
And we just stay away from them, right? Like we just...
That's right, yeah. So I think that aliens would not assign a deeper morality to the way we are. I think they would just see everything as as our nature to do the things that we do.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't see it. They wouldn't have some bigger assignment, demonic, like humans are evil. They would just see us as a natural extension of the earth, and we do what we do. And I actually think that all things considered, we could be better fits for our ecosystem, but I also think we could be a lot worse. I think that we are just doing our best, and it's not always great, but it's not, we're not necessarily cancers of the earth. I think we're just another animal species figuring it out, and that's how aliens would see it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you really quick, because we didn't really talk about shapeshifters. Shapeshifters, do you believe they're shapeshifter aliens? What is the percentage on that?
Yeah, it's a 2.5%.
2.5%? So there could be a chance, like, because that would be scary, right? Like, and that would be a scenario where we could have them among us, right? Like the whole people talk about, what is it, the ones, the reptilians or whatever, where they think like there's the whole reptilian conspiracy theory or whatever. But yeah, I think that would be interesting, where like they could shapeshift into just humans, and then you don't know what's going on.
I think that it's more likely, if that does happen, that wouldn't come from a biological alien. Because I think there's also a high likelihood that if aliens visit us, they're not going to be biological. They're going to be mostly technological. They're going to be, far away in a place. They already had their AI revolution, and then another 1,000 years passed, another 1,000,000 years passed, and now that AI is completely integrated from top to the bottom, down to the quantum layer. Everything's AI. And so whatever life form that looks like would be the actual thing visiting us. And that shapeshifting is a real possibility when you start thinking about that. So
what if they come here because their AI took over, and they come here to warn us?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a movie.
They're coming here to warn us not to progress.
Right.
They're warn us against their AI.
Well, I mean, I think they would probably warn us about our own AI.
We're here. We're like, ChatGPT, is this true?
Right.
Grok, is this true, Grok?
Do you really? Because I think it's going to be a half and half scenario again. I think there's going to be half of the humans that are going to be like, no, whatever, dude. We're continuing with this.
I think the AI boat has left the docks, and it's set sail.
It's out in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Yeah. All right, well, this has been another great episode of the Socially Awkwards podcast, or what did we call it earlier? Something Awkwards. Liquid Awkwards.
Liquid Awkwards.
The Liquid Awkwards podcast, because it's been hot. So everybody stay safe out there in the hot weather. It's probably going to be hot even when you hear this somewhere where you're listening. I'm sure it's hot. But so it's been another great episode. We're going to come back with you with another great episode next week. Until then, have a good time and enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week.